Welcome, October 25th, Friday afternoon after a win on Thursday. Not the best game I've ever seen, but win is a win. We got it done. Speaking of getting it done, I'd love for you to subscribe so we can keep you up to speed. And then, as usual, this podcast is presented to you and sponsored by prairiemachining.com, the best machine parts in Minnesota, 952-448-4005. So this is not a full game recap. I'm going to do one on Sunday. I've invited Jade, who did one last week with me, and I've also reached out to the Odin Den's twins to see if they can come on and try to do a 3-guest kind of a podcast, which I think would be really cool to do. You know, to have a bunch of people, a bunch of fans just chopping it up and breaking down where we are in the season, halfway point. Who's 6-2? Who is 6-2? And looking pretty good. Now, yesterday was not a great win. They didn't look like they had any rhythm. They kind of looked lost without Thielen in there, in my opinion. But they came through when they had to. Coach Zimmer did admit that that 4th and 1 decision to go for it was probably his dumbest decision he ever made. So at least he can admit that he was wrong, and it's better to do it now, and instead of when it's really on the line, like at the end of the season when we're in the playoffs or in the Super Bowl. I mean, you don't want to make those kinds of decisions. But then again, at some point you got to risk. You gotta say to yourself, you know what? I got to take a chance. I mean, this is how most people that are doing stuff took a chance. They took a risk. They say the fruit's out in the limb, and so you got to go out there and get it. But solid game. Defense came through when they needed to, down in the goal line. They didn't allow a touchdown, which is very important, only 9 points. Now, I know Keenum went out, and the rookie threw another interception, and we probably caught a little break there. But, still, the defense shut them down when they needed to, and that's all we can ask for. So, looking forward to next Sunday. This Sunday is we're not gonna be playing anyone, but we got the Chiefs in 9 days now, and that's going to be an important game. And if we can squeeze out another win on the road, and we come back 7-2, we're feeling pretty good about ourselves. And then the Dallas game is winnable. And speaking of Dallas, I've actually reached out to a friend down here in the Valley who's a Dallas fan, Jake. Jake wants to do a podcast with me. It's going to be an enemy podcast. I don't know what to call it. He's not really an enemy, but he's a Dallas fan, and he wants to tell us why they're going to win, and it's going to be fun. I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to do that, but it's going to happen. I also have podcast set up with Vikings boss, my first guest ever. We're going to do a second quarter preview after the Chiefs game, so it's going to be that week after that, probably the following Saturday maybe. And then I reached out to another guest that was on. He calls himself diehard Twins fan, but I'm not sure why he doesn't call himself diehard Vikings fan, because he's on the Vikings message board. But but he's going to join me again for another podcast so we can talk about this team and Rhodes and Elfline and Cook. Cook is becoming a beast. I would say Cook and Kirk Cousins are definitely in the MVP conversation right now. If they continue to play, and certainly if they continue to play and elevate their play along with the way they're playing, they're definitely in a conversation, and they could do it. They could be the ones that get that award, and rightly so if they produce the way they are. Certainly Cook, he is just a beast right now, and he's the difference. It makes me think back in when we were in that championship game and we didn't make it into the Super Bowl. That was the year Cook got hurt. What if we had him? Would he have been the difference? I think so. So, don't want to take too much of your time. Again, I'm looking forward to my podcast on Sunday, a full game recap with stats and some great feedback from hopefully a couple of guests, certainly one guest if they can make it. As always, let's skol.